A moose knuckle? Never mind.
Batman was a show about people in their PJs.
Batman is campy yet classic.
Batman has a lot of spandex.
Why didn't you say so? Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fallingtower's Watch the First podcast in which we watch the first episode of a series so that you don't have to.
But you still can.
Today, you may have guessed, we are doing a review of Batman. But which Batman? There's so many. Great question. The 1966, I believe this is the original version of Batman with
Adam
West and Burt something.
Ward? Is that right?
Burt Ward, thank you, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we know a lot about this show. Some of us do. Some of us don't. Won't you join us? Please give this video a like. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for notifications. If you're listening in, please make sure to give us a 5-star rating and leave a review. Thank you very much for that. Look at our very special guest today. It's Kelly Park.
Hi!
Yay, Kelly.
Whoa. I wish we came with our own sound effects.
Wow, it's a theme.
We also have Dr. Muhammad Noor here. He obviously didn't get the memo because he's wearing a Greatest American Hero shirt.
Yeah, look at what's happened to me. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that again. Always a pleasure to be on Fallingtower's Watch the First of Things.
It is a glorious shirt. And everybody, I'm wearing my name's Ryan T. Husk. I'm wearing a cool Captain Picard shirt from theintrovertedrepublic.com. Check that out and get yourself one. Kelly was looking. She's like, I guess that is Captain Picard.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm wearing an Anderson window. Anyone need windows? Go to Anderson window.
I have Anderson windows.
A few of those shirts. I have a bunch of those shirts and hats and stuff. Of course, everybody does.
They're good. I mean, they are. They're kind of classic.
Today, the first episode is entitled Hi Diddle Riddle, which was kind of a clue as to what was going to happen here. Look,
feels like there's a riddle hidden in there.
Everybody, today we're doing, of course, Batman. It is Superhero Month. So if you have a superhero show you'd like us to review, any kind of superhero, it could be animated, could be old school, DC, Marvel, whatever you want. In the comments below, just type in WTF and the show, and also where we can find it. So in this case, you would have said WTF Batman 1966, parenthetically, Apple TV. Or wherever.
Actually, I watched it on Amazon Prime. I just bought one episode because I don't have a current Apple TV subscription. So I was like, I'll just buy one episode.
They didn't have it on the Apple TV. They had it on Apple TV, but they say on Google and IMDb Pro right now that it's on Max, but it's not. Just hold on.
Sounds more like Min then instead of Max.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Look, the point is, Muhammad, I have no idea where we're going next.
Well, were you gonna say more about that, Kelly? You said but, and then you didn't finish the thought.
Oh, but you can rent it or you can buy it for a couple of bucks. Worth it.
Got it. Well, that's a good lead into Ryan's question of like, what's next? Now is when we predict what each other thought about the show after seeing it. We got a little hint.
Yeah, we did. So here's the key, everybody. Muhammad and I have known each other for a few years, but pretty closely in constant contact. I would say. Yeah. Oh, good. I was afraid you were going to say yes, sadly.
No, not even close.
Kelly and I have known each other, it's got to be 10 years. We were just talking about when we used to work in a restaurant together and some of our many, many pet peeves and opinions on that. So we know each other very well. Muhammad and Kelly, you've seen each other a few times, spoken quite a few. I think you know each other well.
Follow each other on Instagram.
Starting to. Yeah, I was going to say I follow the Insta. And yep, I have an idea. I have a little idea now of how it works up here, just a little bit for him. But
it's a complicated web up there for that man. So the point is, we can probably predict with high efficiency whether the other person would like it. So that's what we're going to do right now. Dr. Noor, I predict that you like this pretty high. I think it's full of nostalgia. I think you'd seen it before and you're like, Dick. I like that Dick. Because Robin's name was Dick something.
I wrote that down.
And I think you're going to be pretty high on it. You're going to remember the characters. Oh, good old Alfred. That Riddler and that laugh, you know. Now, Kelly and Park, I think, look, you're definitely a glass half full person. That's why we love you so much. I think you are going to be fairly high. Plus, you did say worth it. Little snickerdoodle there I caught. So I think you're both pretty high. I think Kelly's going to be somewhere around the 7 or 8. Muhammad's going to be around a strong 8. What do you think, Muhammad?
Well, I'll start with Kelly since we got the hint there. I think you're going to be pretty positive, and like you said, Ryan, Kelly's definitely a glass half full sort of person, very upbeat, positive. So I think you're more willing to dismiss things that seem like overly dated or whatever. Just like, that was a fun ride, whatever. It's okay. So it's a little dated. Ryan, I think you're going to be a little bit more middle of the pack. I think you'll look at it and you'll say like, okay, this is from the 1960s. But I think there's some aspects of it which you're not going to be as thrilled with. And I think you're also, my guess is that you're going to be very unhappy that we didn't get a resolution in this episode. That it just kind of stopped, kind of mid-story. I think that probably got you annoyed. Like, what? That's my guess.
What about you, Kelly? By the way, 1966, that's the same year that Star Trek came out initially. So to give everybody an idea of what was going on there.
Yeah, before any of us were born,
Yeah, what do you predict, Kelly?
Well, I would say, Muhammad, I think that you liked it. I definitely think that you're like, I don't think you loved it, though. I think it was just like a good, fun ride kind of deal. You know, probably in the 7s area. And then, Brian, I think you liked it. I think, I don't think you necessarily go into these shows being like, I hate it. But I'm going to say you were just on the fence. So I'm thinking like 4 or 5, like almost not like, but that's just a thought. I'm kind of throwing it out there. So we'll see.
It's just a prediction, not a spoiler. All right.
The predicament.
So now everybody at home, you get to make your predictions. Do you think I liked this show? Do you think Muhammad liked this show? Do you think Kelly liked this show or not? Let us know in the live chat or in the comments below. Make your predictions now. Take your time, type away while Muhammad saves us a little bit of time, or buys us a little bit of time by telling us what the show is even about.
I will. At the Gotham City World Fair, the Prime Minister of Moldavia slices into a friendship cake and it explodes with a riddle coming down by parachute. The police force decide they cannot handle this challenge alone and call in Batman. Batman and Robin follow clues and think they catch the Riddler red-handed, but it was a trick. And the Riddler presents Batman with a lawsuit for $1 million and may be able to force him to reveal his identity. Batman and Robin followed more leads, but dig themselves deeper into trouble, with both getting drugged, the Batmobile almost getting stolen, and Robin being kidnapped. The episode ends as a cliffhanger. Tune in next week. But probably not here on Watch the First. You can still tune in to us, though.
That's right. Hopefully, everybody, you've typed in your predictions. You still have a little bit of time because now we're going to go to our next thing, but I don't know what it's called.
Oh, this is my favorite. This is Expect Kitchen, where we spend a little bit of time on what you expected before you saw the show, and then much more time on what you kitchen after watching the show. I always love this part.
I just like watching you guys. All right, so let's compare and contrast what we expected versus what we got, starting with Dr. Muhammad Noor. Before you watch this first episode of Batman, what did you expect, if anything?
So, Ryan, you were correct that I had seen this series before. I don't know that I could have come up with any individual episode plot because I think I watched it. So I was born in the early 70s, and I watched it in the afternoons as reruns sometimes. And I remember enjoying it. The one thing I do remember very well is the Batman 1966, I think it was, movie. That, I mean, I could tell you the whole plot for it. That I remember very, very solid. It's the same actors and stuff like that for it. So I think we even brought this up before in one of the episodes of Watch the First when Darth was on, where we talked about bits of that particular movie. That I remembered very well. The series, I mean, I remembered existing, but like I said, I couldn't remember very specific things beyond, of course, the theme song. I used to call it a song. It's not exactly a song.
That was everybody's first song that they learned how to play on the guitar, let me tell you.
Is it?
It's so,
that's
it's like
before Stairway to Heaven.
That's very anyway. You can probably play it on an old rotary phone too.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, I remember being super campy, of course. I remember being super silly. I remember The Simpsons also made fun of it all the time. They would always bring in even like Adam West to make fun of it. Or it'd have like them coming in and all of a sudden everybody starts dancing.
What about you, Kelly? What did you expect, if anything?
Well, I definitely expected it, it's 1966, so it's going to be older. It's going to be targeted towards that type of audience in that era, so I was expecting like, okay, it's going to be, look at, I was really excited to see all the different, like, even technologies, like what their Batmobile looked like and how they called them on the telephone and things like that. And so I was actually pretty excited for that part. So I expected, my dad's stuff. I remember that, and then anybody like any of those Gen Zs, they're all like, why is it attached to the wall? And I'm like, so just saying.
Yes, indeed. I'll tell y'all what I expected, if anything. Well, look, I'd never seen this before, but I was aware of it. I was aware of the Batcave at Griffith Park in Los Angeles that I've visited a few times. I was aware of Adam West being in it just from, the zeitgeist of the world. Everybody knows about Adam West was in Batman, and I knew that there was a guy, Burt Ward, I kind of had also heard. That's why I was able to kind of pull that out. Adam West, I knew a decent amount about him because he was always in Family Guy, I think it was. I always heard his voice in Family Guy playing himself, playing like an old Adam West, always being like friendly and charming.
There's a Big Bang Theory sometimes too.
Mm-hmm.
Goody. So I still haven't seen a second of that. But anyway, so I didn't necessarily expect to like it. I had a feeling I was probably not going to like it because I thought it was probably going to be a piece of old television. So that's where I stood on that. However, the more important question is, Dr. Muhammad Noor, upon viewing this first episode, what did you actually get?
I'll say Kelly nailed it. Like, I liked it, but I wouldn't go so far as to say I loved it, because there were definitely elements I thought were very positive. Elements I was like, maybe it's just this particular episode. I'm not sure. So, I mean, things I liked the pacing of it. It felt like it was moving. That it wasn't moving quickly, but it was certainly an easy pace to follow. Things like that. I thought that was good. It had a fun silliness, which is something I do remember, and I remember having nostalgia to it. I mean, just all sorts of like the gadgets, as Kelly was mentioning earlier, but even seeing the Batmobile and like how they go down to the Batcave, and so, like little things that were kind of silly, but I thought were funny, like how the poles were labeled with their names. Like, well, why does it matter? Like, could they not figure out, like, oh, I go that one? Like, is it really that hard to remember when there's two? And I like the little sign that would drop down for the Batmobile to come out too. I mean, and the fact that it's like this weird rocket engine, which seems completely overkill for any sort of car. I mean, there's lots of little things like that, which I was like, oh, that's funny. The music, of course. Oh my gosh, I've been humming it like all day. I watched it yesterday. I've been humming it all day. It's just totally stuck in my head now. So that was all good. The plot itself was not as funny as I remembered the show in general being. It's certainly not as funny as I remember the movie being. Like, there were things which I kind of snickered at, but there was rarely that was really funny. It was more like, what? what? But lightly funny in terms of like that was just being super curious, but it wasn't super laugh out loud funny as I would have expected. Even though I mentioned that the pace was good, I felt like not much actually happened. Even though I think the plot was progressing, but I remember when it finished, like, oh, what, we're done? Oh, okay. That was a little bit funny. The final thing, which I thought was odd, which I should have remembered this because this is definitely an era thing. It was oddly and almost like over the top clean for today. Like when Batman was at the bar, he was drinking orange juice. And they were constantly talking about following the laws. Like when they pulled those bars off, like, oh no, we can't just drop down the sidewalk. Let's put this bat clip up here and hang it off. I was like, okay, it's very, it takes lawful good to an extreme there. And they're super careful not to hurt anybody. So those, I mean, I wouldn't solidly say that was a negative, but to me, it just seemed odd. I was like, oh, I mean, I don't mind clean. Obviously, I like clean, but it was so extreme that I found it a little bit dramatic. But anyway, I have more specific comments on aspects of the episode. But overall, again, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't like captivated. And I was like, oh my god, that was the best thing. I want to watch it. I want to watch it again or anything like that. I wasn't like that.
That begs a future question.
It does beg a future question.
What about you, Kelly? What did you actually get upon viewing this masterpiece?
Well, at spandex or yeah. Robin with the span. I mean, or not span. I mean, what are they wearing? Like leotard? I don't know pajamas. Sure. Yeah, exactly. So I got that, and I didn't realize it was going to be now here on Batman, and like every single line in that show was the exact same. Like, why didn't we think of that? We need to call Batman. Or like, and then he's like, gee willikers, we've got to go. And I'm like, hey, Kay. So I got a lot of like, but yeah, no, it was fun. It was definitely fun. That they've got to call them. And I like how, especially with these outfits, these, little costumes, you can't tell who those people are because there's a little right across the eyeballs. So no way. Nope. Yeah. Or just couldn't rip off the hat or anything like that. But I liked that. I thought it was really interesting. I laughed when he's like, and I'm gonna sue you. And I'm like, what? That was one of those like moments where I'm like, oh, he's got him. What's he gonna do? I'm gonna see you in court. Really? Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So, I mean, it's, riveting. I wouldn't really want to go to court either. I guess I don't really want to get sued, but so Lord knows we wouldn't want to do anything like that. So then and then it was just fun. It was fun to, when the polls had, each of their name mark his and his so that, which one, Poopsie goes down and which one the other one goes down. And, so I thought that was fun. And then like, every time they left the Batcave, one shot always cuts to like, and then, my favorite thing actually also about this episode might be on one of the funniest things I think I've ever, I don't know why I thought it was so funny, but it was the funniest thing when he started dancing.
Oh my God, the dancing.
It was like, oh my God, is this really happening? And my fiance and I were watching it and he was like, whoa, we were like, ah! She goes, those are some really cool moves, Batman, and Cape or something like, those are Cape good moves. And I was just like, I like can't right now, but I did. And that was one of my favorite moments. I thought I really missed out on 60s television, didn't I? So
for better or worse. Well,
yeah, this 60s show, I mean, were all 60s shows like this the whole time?
No.
We're just going to have to review them all and find out.
I know. Well, I was like, this is intense. So every why didn't we think of that? We need to call Batman. That's just, yeah. So now every time I like go around the corner and I'm like, Casey, I'm like, we gotta call Batman. He's like, stop. And I'm like, I can't help it. So that will be an inside joke for about a week.
This show really affected you.
I love that.
It's got the song in Muhammad's head. It's got the way they speak in your. Well, you know what? Let me tell y'all what I actually got here. What I actually got was a show that was kind of really. I felt like I was watching The Riddler as a show because it just kept posing more questions. I just kept saying, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? What's this? You know, like the his and her polls or whatever, you know, like the court thing. We'll definitely spend some time on that. Like there are all these things where I was like, why are they, what's the situation here? Why the orange juice freshly squeezed, you know, there are just so many things. And then when Batman made like a cute teenager reference to Robin. Robin was like, he said something like, I don't know what I'm doing. He says, oh, well, that's just your cute teenager mind. Or so, I don't know. Anyway, what I thought
it was that he saw some other cute teenager. I thought that's what it was. Maybe I misunderstood.
No, it was when they were going to climb the wall. He's asked.
I thought he was referring back to something from earlier, but I could be. Maybe I misunderstood.
Yeah, he thought he saw, you know, a cute girl on the street or something.
Yeah, that's what I
thought. Blah, with the teenage blah, blah, and he goes, Batman. So yeah.
Okay, so anyway, what I got was a show that it just, you know, I guess it was kind of what I expected. It wasn't that great, but it wasn't entirely unenjoyable because it was short. Yeah. And there was one big highlight for me overall, which really kind of bumped it up for me, which was the ending. That it ended in a cliffhanger.
I guess
I don't really care about the show, so it didn't bother me that it ended in a cliffhanger because I don't give a shit what happens with them. Like I'm not like, oh my god, I got to find out. I don't care. I just thought it was brilliant. I was like, wow.
Oh, okay.
And so yeah, so let's talk about that very quickly because I have a question for you, Muhammad, since you're a pro at this stuff. When it ended on that cliffhanger, I was actually very impressed, and I thought, is that the weekly model? And then they said, come back tomorrow. I'm like, are they really releasing one episode a day? Because they're like, come back tomorrow, same bat. You know, I was like, this is crazy. What a brilliant but difficult undertaking. So Muhammad, was it just every single episode ended in a cliffhanger? In which case, was it just one 30 episode arc for the whole season? Or was it like they get out of the bind in the first few minutes of the episode, and then a new bind shows up, and then they have to just keep linking them? And then in which case, how do they meet in the middle? I just had so many questions as to the formula. Can you shed some light on that?
Truthfully, I don't remember. I mean, I don't think so. I don't think it was this thing where, like you said, basically a 30 episode arc. I don't think it was like that. I think, you know, there would be some sort of resolution, and then we'll bring in the Penguin or bring in Joker. But I don't remember for sure. Honestly.
Did every episode end in a cliffhanger, or was it just that first one?
Yeah. Like I said, the only one that I remember well is the movie. And that one definitely did not end as a cliffhanger. What I don't remember is these episodes. I mean, I remember I watched them, but I don't remember any details about them at all.
One final question on, you know, the production of it. You mentioned there was a 1966 movie. Did that movie come out before or after or during this season? Was it like the before to set it up?
So that's a good question. When we talked before, so I don't know the answer, but when we talked before, Darth had said he thought it was earlier, but this was from January 66. So if it was before, it would have been like right before.
Oh.
So it would have been pretty tight. I don't know the answer though. If it was
so the movie was probably after the first season, probably.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know the answer. But the movie had all four villains together. It had Catwoman, Joker, Riddler, and Penguin all together.
Those are the four. There aren't any others?
In the movie. I think there are others in the TV show, but those are the four that were in the movie.
All right. So let's get to what Kelly was talking about.
Sorry, I don't remember more.
Because that was the big thing for me too, Kelly, was when, okay, the Riddler got him. Here this is it. He put up this big old master plan and they fell for it. And he's got him right where he wants him. He's like, that's it. And now I'm going to see you in court, bro. And we're like,
that was such a weird twist. Like, really? That's what the Riddler's going to do?
I didn't even know they sued people in the 60s. I didn't even know that was I thought that was like started in the 80s.
Yeah. A little plateau there. I was like, and he's got him, and he's got him, and he's going to go to court.
He's going to go litigate. I'll see you in 4 months. Check for my postal e-messages. What are those things called? Mail. We're going to send information on where to meet us in court in 4 months, unless it doesn't work with your schedule and you postpone it, and then we can meet up next year to really hash out our differences.
Yeah. Small claims.
Yeah. Oh, wait. And he was suing him for $1 million for that? I was like, that is an extraordinary amount of money for 1966 just for wrongful imprisonment for like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
I thought that too. Like, what? Really? For that? We let you go really quick.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's even hard to call that imprisonment. It was kind of like you were very briefly cuffed.
Batman should probably have an attorney, though, on hand. Because it sounds like if this is the way we're going, he probably should have. Don't they have one in the other Batman movies? I bet they have attorneys, right?
I'm sure.
Attorney man, yeah.
Attorney man. Maybe the Riddler is an attorney.
Well, I don't know how he was able to serve him court papers before the actual crime was committed. Like, he had those court papers already typewritten out before. I don't know if that's even legal. Like, can he get the whole case thrown out that say like you typed this up before the crime was even committed?
There's
what is
entrapment?
That? Yeah, you tell him, Lawyer Sam.
The other thing that puzzled me the most was the very beginning, when, like, after the thing had happened with the parachuting Riddler, or sorry, the parachuting Riddle. And all of them met, like, we can't handle this alone. Like, nothing's happened. Like, we can't handle this alone.
You got to know.
Literally nothing has happened. Like, a cake blew up. And there's a riddle. Like, okay.
And the police are like, this is above my pay grade. Cake's blowing up. What about the National Guard? Nope, we got to go higher. The president? Nope, we got to go higher. We got to import. And did the whole episode take place in Moldavia?
Well, it was at the Gotham City World Fair, wasn't it? I thought the Moldavian representative was there. I thought he was there at the World Fair.
Because that's what confused me.
Yeah.
Is it said Gotham City World's Fair, and they had a ton of extras. I was like, what a budget for this. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then it says Republic of Moldavia. So I was like, did we just go to 2 locations at once? Nothing happened. They said, now we're in Gotham City. And then we're like, okay, here's Gotham City. And they're like, and now we're in Moldavia. And we're like, what?
I thought it was like a Moldavia exhibit in the World Fair. Maybe I misunderstood that then.
Maybe, but it just, it delivered it the same way. It said Gotham City World's Fair, and then showed people walking. And then it cuts to a different place and it says Republic of Moldavia.
And you're like, why did we see the World's Fair? We could have seen Mississippi. We could have seen anywhere else.
And so I went back like twice and I was like, what did I miss? What? You got to show something happening in Gotham before you cut to the next place, right? But you're right. Maybe it was just delivered poorly. Maybe it was just the Republic of Moldavia section of the fair.
That was what I interpreted it as.
Okay, that makes more sense.
I mean, I could be wrong, but that was at least my interpretation.
I hope so.
Well, a lot like the show itself, where what do oranges and things have in common? But don't worry, because Robin's there to be like, I have the answer actually right now.
Why isn't an orange like a bell? I never even heard the expression peel a bell.
Peel a bell. What the crap does that mean?
I had to Google it. I'd never heard that before.
What does it mean?
It's something about like some way they play bells in churches in a particular way or something like that. But it's spelled a little bit differently.
Yeah. Well,
I'd never heard that before. Apparently, that was more
to sound loudly and sonorously. And it's funny, I Googled peel a bell and it says peel a bell Batman is the first thing that pops up in Google. Because nobody's like, what is it? Oh, that's funny. Okay. Kelly,
I asked a friend of mine about it too, and she said that was a popular expression like 40s to 60s, but it's not so popular now, which makes sense then for the show.
We're gonna bring it back. I'm gonna peel that bell.
No, there's one thing I am gonna bring back though, is chum. I was like, yeah, chum. I remember that. It's usually like, hey, old chum. Yeah. Hey, old chum. Like we still say getting chummy with someone. We still use that, but we don't call someone a chum. Kelly, did you have a favorite mome? Old chum? Chum?
Well, I liked chum. There was a couple other ones I really liked. I wish I would have written them down because I was like, I love that one. I love that quote. There was a couple of them that he's like, you didn't say like great Scott or say, but one time he says, excellent job, Dick. I'm like, you're welcome, Batman. Had a couple little giggles there, but like I said, when every time a riddle would show up and the riddle doesn't make zero sense, but as much as it doesn't make sense, Robin jumps right in and goes, actually, I think it sounds like this, and it literally is that. That
the 222 Glover thing, the toot.
Yeah.
What the hell did he get? That guy was got to be the best at like word puzzle, like crossword puzzles and Sudoku. Because if he could figure that out, I was like, how did he get that?
Yeah,
He's
no
smarter
one knows.
than Batman.
Like, that doesn't even make any sense. And he goes, actually, I think it does make sense, and it's right over there. Great job, chum.
That is one thing I like about the show is how ridiculous those things are. Like, there's no way anybody could have come up with that. I like that. It was just so like, okay.
It's fun.
One girl watching is like, oh, I knew that.
One girl said, "Gleeps, it's Batman." When they went to 222 whatever. I rewound it and I put on the closed captioning just to know. I was like, what the hell did she say? But she said, "Gleeps, it's Batman." And I felt like that lady was somebody famous because when she said, "Look out," I was like, I've heard that voice before.
Oh, Molly, I think was her name of the character.
Yes.
The character. Yeah.
I've definitely heard that "look out" in something. I don't know if it was a movie or TV show, but anyway, that was something. I think her last name was like St. John or something.
Well,
anyway, must be a famous lady.
Did y'all like the bat devices? Like actually, there's one they didn't even comment on was that laser they were using for cutting the bars off. Like, whoa, what is that? That's an
the anti-theft lock was my favorite.
Oh my god, the little flip it over.
Anti-theft close, and then he presses, and all of a sudden just starts shooting fireworks, and like, oh my me.
Or what about when it had like the anti-fire thing? I was like, but there's still fire damage. It was still on fire for 10 seconds. Like those leather seats have got to be done. The steering wheel's got to be pretty hot. I mean, everything's still like, but Batman just hops right in like it wasn't just on fire for 10 to 20 seconds. Like, I don't know.
It was also correct. He stumbles in because he's under the influence.
Oh,
I thought that was very strange. I was like, this is a little cringy. They're like, sorry, Batman, you can't drive right now. No one wants to talk about the fact that he got roofied? Like, what?
Well, that's the other thing is to add on to what Muhammad was saying and what you're bringing up here. When Muhammad was saying it was super clean. Yeah, I noticed that when the cops go, sorry, Batman, you can't go anywhere in your condition. And his first thing was, yes, officer, you're right. I was like,
you're right.
he's like, I could never drive under the influence. What was it? He says, quote, the cops are like, we're going to have to take your keys, Batman. You're drunk. And then Batman says, yes, of course, officer. You're entirely correct. I was like, geez, Batman, you square. You got to at least put up a fight and say, I'm not drunk. I was roofied. Help me catch these guys. You drive.
You drive. Orange juice, man.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Also, the learning lesson there, you should definitely watch when people make your drinks. I mean, maybe that was.
Do you all think the anti-theft device should have been more violent too? I mean, it was just like fireworks. Like, okay, I thought it would like electrocute the person in the car. Or
well, it was like smart in that it said it alerts the cops. Like, it doesn't go anywhere and it shoots out the fireworks and the cops come. I was like, okay, that's pretty smart, I guess. Although the one that I did have a qualm with, Muhammad, was when Robin's like, just for two things. See, I just had too many questions with this. One, they show up and the guy says, sorry, Robin can't come in. He's underage. How the do you know? Did he show him an ID?
He's even masked too.
He can't tell who he is through his mask.
Yeah.
How do you know? And they don't put up a fight. They can go, actually, I'm 22, or nothing. He just says, yes, you're right. I am underage. How'd you guess? But then the other thing was that, shit. Now I forgot because I got so lost in that one. But that one really affected me in a strong way. That I don't know. Did I miss that? Did they explain something?
Underage.
Yeah, how do they know?
20. They should.
Batman didn't show ID. Though everybody seemed to know Batman. Like as soon as he walked in, like it's Batman. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. The other thing was that then Robin goes, all right, I'll just sit back, relax, and put up the bat antenna and watch TV. How were there cameras in that bar?
Yeah.
Like you don't just pull up an antenna and then you could just see what's happening behind closed doors. There still has to be cameras. And he got all angles.
The very small little bat copter went up there and was taking pictures for him.
Several of them for all the different angles.
Dude, also for it being a clean show, as you said, Mohammed, but I do like the subtle hints of like, how come everyone knows? Does Batman, the superhero, frequent bars? Like, does he go bar hopping when he's done fighting crimes or what? They're all like, hey, Batman, what's up? I'm like, you guys aren't worried. Okay, so it sounds like he shows up. What does he come through and gets super drunk off orange juice or what? Like, what's going on here?
Just get orange juice all over town.
And then he dances. And then he
the dance.
Yeah, that lady did say something about it. Oh, what was it? Because Kelly, you were mentioning that the lady Molly said something about like, you're really caping away in that dance, or she said something, but I wish I had written that down. Oh,
I didn't write that.
Riddler asks for a mall. What was that? When the knife thing, when Riddler goes, he goes, mall. Mall.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was.
MOL. Yeah. It's like, isn't that a scalpel? Or maybe it's like one of those old shaver things that people used to, because that's what it kind of looked like, right? It looked like one of those.
That, yeah.
One of those.
It's also not clear what's he going to do? Is he going to kill
shave
Robin?
Yeah, maybe shaving a haircut, 2 bits.
Baby face.
Yeah. I was a little surprised at that ending. They're like, what's about to happen? I don't understand. Because it seemed like he was going to kill him. Like, why did you even bring him? Then he could have just like stabbed him in the car and left.
Yeah, a lot of questions. I will say there's a lot of like, why would you go that way? Okay. Yeah. Great Scott, Dick.
Great Scott.
Great Dick, Scott. No.
I don't know about
that. By the way, everybody, stay tuned. Next week might be Scott Baker joining us. We'll repeat that joke. What were your favorite momes of this show? You guys have a favorite mome?
It was the dancing for me. That was the one place where I laughed out loud. I was like, "Oh my god, that dance!"
And it's like just zooms in on like just him, and he's like,
"Yeah." It was the bizarre dance.
Like I think like if I had a camera on me watching it, I was like, "What is happening?" Dude, I don't know. I got a good laugh today.
Oh, the one that really killed me was when they're about to scale up that building, and Batman's about to throw his gizzard up there to pull themselves up, and he's like, "All right, I'm going to throw the rope," and he says, "Stand back, Robin."
Oh yeah, he went like one step.
Robin takes half a step back, but goes. I watched that like 5 times. He stand back, and he goes, "What is this?" Well, all right, well, here we go. I'm ready now. Like that.
I actually thought about you for that scene. I was like, "Oh, Ryan's totally going to pick up on this one." I totally on that one.
Stand back, Robin.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this, a comic book? Maybe that's what it was. Maybe they were just kind of trying to blang. That was very silly.
Did you like the walking up the thing, which was clearly just a camera sideways?
I was okay with that because I was like, it's the 60s.
Yeah, it was
guys.
Fun.
Yeah.
The Robin, though, besides this one, I will say my other favorite mome besides the dancing was in the very beginning. Like I was like, okay, they're wearing, pajamas or what you will. And then Robin at some point just like puts his arms or whatever and then just stares and it's just for everyone to see. And I was like, I can't. I can't not look.
Oh my.
It was weird. What? His whole outfit.
I noticed it on the Riddler. I was like, bro, stop doing the pelvic thrusts. We get it, okay? You're pleased.
What? Casey called it he said when he was watching with me, it's called a moose knuckle. Never mind. We're gonna keep going.
Like I'm making the same face. It's kind of
funny. We know
Google
about the moose knuckle. We know all about that thing. The old goat foot. There was another thing very quickly. I had a lot of nitpicks, just a ton of nitpicks where I'm like, come on, what's going on here? Robin gets shot with a dart and he can't pull it out of his arm to save his life. He's like, oh, dart. And he went, oh, boy, that thing is really, darn it. There's no way I could pull this. Wait, who can't pull a dart or a needle or a little thing?
It's a fancy one that when it goes in, it like expands on these. It's like
maybe, and that way he could still pull it out, but then it would just really rip them open. Yeah, that's true. So there were a lot of that was anyway. Okay, too much. There are too many things. Oh, one more. I just because I have to mention this one. They're hidden. The Bat Cave is hidden. Okay. Nobody's around. I've been to that Bat Cave a few times. Everybody loves it. They go to Griffith Park. They come out of the Bat Cave and there's a sign that says Gotham 14 miles. Okay. I have two nitpicks with that. Number one is they know. They're the ones that built the thing there. They know where Gotham is. They know what to do. They don't need to put a sign for themselves to tell them the one thing. It didn't have like a but this thing's here, this thing's here. It was just Gotham is 14 miles that way. They know. Just go. They know where they are. There's only one thing. There's only one road. There's only one thing. The other thing was if they're hidden and they want to keep their secrecy, why are they putting a sign there? People are driving out on a dirt road. They see a sign that's saying that's facing a cave and say Gotham that way 14. They're gonna be like, what's up with that cave? Anyway, why do they need to? Anyway, there are a lot of those things that were very silly, as Muhammad mentioned, campy. Yes. But look, something that is not campy is, as Muhammad gracefully puts away his notes, is information about Kelly Park. Kelly, you do all kinds of things, most notably act and smile and tell very funny jokes. Can you tell us what's new in your world lately?
What's new in my world? Well, I'm continuing to try putting things on the TikTok. I am trying to morph into a faux Gen Z and keep up with that one. And doing a little bit of that. And then I have another photo shoot actually with a photographer. Just like a fun, like earthy themed one or whatever, where that should be coming up here in 3 weeks. So yep, you'll have to I'll let you know. So stay tuned. And then
you want to tell us more about that? Like, is this like for a product or for?
It's for I do influencing posts on Instagram. So like it's called Stack Influence. It's like a group of whatever that basically they'll send you something. So like this ring that I have on right now, what they do is they send it to you and then you post it on Instagram with a bazillion hashtags and then you get a project. And so anyway, so this one's going to be like an outdoorsy one. So I need someone to take the photo of it. So the product hasn't came yet, but as soon as it does, we'll take pictures with it and then I will drop it on the Insta. So that, and Nina is 1.5 years old almost, and she is walking around like crazy. So she's
adorable.
Yep, my little peanut butter. So she the beans. Yep, she's doing pretty well. And I don't know. That's about all I got. I got my cappuccino today. It's Sunday.
With the pup on it. If you could only call your daughter one thing, would it be beans or peanut butter?
Beans.
Okay.
Beans. Yep. Because every baby toddler, they're all peanut butters, like little peanut butter and jellies, but Beans is actually like Nina Beans is her like nickname. Like everyone calls her Beans. So just saying, stay tuned, Walls, and she'll start chit chatting and she'll talk even more than mommy. Which I don't know if that's possible.
Interesting for friends start calling her that too. If they start calling her Beans.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, all my friends call her Beans. Like, oh, go Beans. And I'm like, yep. So that's just all in the life here of Kellyanne Park.
And then there can be all these other things where she says something cool, and they're like, "Oh, cool beans," or like there's going to be all these kinds of other. Oh boy, the fun is endless there. But look, so that's where can people find you on TikTok, by the way?
Oh,
and
Instagram is going to be KELLY Kelly_Ann_Park PARK, and then my TikToker is gonna be at just Kellyanne Park.
Okay, TikTok, and that's Kellyanne Park, no E after Ann, correct?
Yes.
Kellyanne Park, and the Instagram is Kelly_Ann_Park.
Yep. Easy. I just put up a new video from The Conjuring. Well, you can't really see it because I don't know how this works. But anyways,
The Conjuring, the Megadeth song?
It's going to be a mystery. You got to take a look at it.
Was The Conjuring from Megadeth's third album? I think it was from the third album. So far, so good. So what? It's either that or the second album, Peace Sells, but who's buying? Anyway, everybody go check that out. The Conjuring. Muhammad's like, please, let's just get on to the bottom line. This is crazy.
Bottom line.
I'm tired of you sneaking in Megadeth to every single freaking episode. But it's true. She said The Conjuring. That's the song.
That's fair.
Anyway, it's the final two questions of the show. That's why Muhammad likes to call it the Terrible Twos.
Bottom line.
And question number one goes a little something like this. Dr. Muhammad Noor, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this first episode of Batman entitled Hi Diddle Riddle?
I like your reaction there. I'm going to give it a 6.9. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it pretty well. But I didn't love it. It was good. It was enjoyable. A lot of it, I think, for nostalgia's sake. A lot of it was just for its camp. Certainly in terms of just quality of plot, I would not have given it a particularly high ranking. But it was a fun ride. I don't regret by any means watching it. So.
Mm-hmm. And Muhammad, to answer your question that you really wanted the answer to, the song "The Conjuring" by Megadeth was indeed the second album. Peace Sells. But who's buying? Everybody say it with me. They all knew in the live chat.
I was waiting with bated breath on that answer. That's great.
Yeah. Kelly Park, what about you? On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this first episode of Batman?
I would give it probably a 5.2. Here's the thing, it's not bad. It's not, but I would say the best way you said it, Ryan, is just so many questions of why would you do that? Why? Why? So, yeah, but I will say it was funny. It was cute. A lot of, yeah, and a lot of, well, Batman. That made me go, eh. So, enjoyable, a good ride. It's not like a roller coaster, but a ride that I don't regret getting on.
More like It's a Small World ride, right? Not too crazy, but it kind of repeats, which is what it seems like the formula is going to be. Look, I'll give it. I'm definitely going to give it a mark. And I just want to preface this by saying that I rolled my eyes a lot. There were a lot of things that my little jerk brain was like, well, what about this and what about that? And, because that's what I do. I nitpick things to death. But I'll be honest, that ending, which I saw coming when there were 3 minutes left and they captured Robin, and I was like, there's only 3 minutes left. This is going to be a to be continued. But then when it ended, and it wasn't just like to be continued, which made me, which you would expect if it's just a two-parter, it said, stay tuned next week. What's going to happen with this? And they made it seem like that's their formula. That's what they do every week, is what it seemed to me when I saw that delivery of that cliffhanger. And I was like, that's really interesting and brilliant. And I'm sure this was like a big deal back in 1966. So that actually really bumped it up severely for me. And I'm giving it a 6.1 because of that. I have a feeling that was a pretty big deal back in then. I feel like it was probably a pretty good, pretty big, pretty important, pretty smart, innovative show. Could be wrong, but that's what it felt like to me. 6.1 from me. However, question number 2 is the biggie. Apple TV, all they care about is, but question number 2 is the one we need to know as a business. And that question is, for the purposes of this podcast, we all had to watch the first episode of Batman. But now that the podcast is over and we're free to move about the internet, Dr. Muhammad Noor, of your own volition, would you watch the second episode?
I mean, certainly if I was in like the doctor's office and it was playing, yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't look away. I'd actually probably be even kind of excited, like, this will be entertaining. Am I gonna click on my TV and subscribe to Apple TV and watch? Like, no, I think I'll call it a yes in the context of would I? Yeah, with the slightest motivation externally imposed, I would do it. But I'm not going to show initiative to do that.
The slightest motivation. I love that. We need to have like levels of yeses and nos. You know what I mean? With very powerful hesitancy, it's a yes. It sounds.
Yeah. Like if I let's say, for example, when For All Mankind the new season comes back, I'll probably resubscribe to Apple TV. At that point, might I click it? Like, still unlikely, but it might. I wouldn't throw it off.
Well, very Kelly,
sorry.
Now that Muhammad is setting the table for 3 yeses, would you, of your own volition, watch the second episode?
Nope. That is a respectfully hard pass. It was fun. It's one of those shows that maybe it's kind of like you don't want to go, but as soon as you went, you're glad you went. Yeah. Pretty much all social settings past 35. So that's fine. And it was fine. But would I mean, pretty much under any circumstance, I mean, yeah, doctor's office, but even then I'd probably play Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery first. So
Which movie was that?
Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery is an app where you get to be your own wizard and choose your own house, and you have to go through.
I want one with 4 bathrooms.
It might. It's really it's more of a mental, like, I like being able to click on stuff and complete classes and things like that. Otherwise, the storyline's not very good at all because it's for 12-year-olds. But age has no fun.
Interesting.
Age has no fun limit. Fun has no age limit. Oh, yes.
Nap time. So, everybody, let me tell y'all, first of all, this episode was brought to you by Harry Potter's Hogwarts House app. Find it on your favorite app store. Enjoy, and you don't forget. Use promo.
What company would that be through? Like Mojang Studio.
Use promo code WTF. Who knows? Something might happen. You might get a discount, right? You never know.
I get 30 extra gems.
Yeah.
My son actually guessed and actually got a GalaxyCon discount. He just started typing it. He's like, well, they said that like discount 10 would work. Let me see what I type in 15, and he got a 15%.
Oh, that's a good deal. That's entrepreneurial. Look, everybody, here's the key, though. I would not watch the second episode, I'd be curious about it. But that curiosity as to how they manage that structure, like if he just saves Robin in like 5 minutes and then they go home and then there's like a commercial break and then it starts up, but then it's kind of like, but then that doesn't really keep them through the commercial break because you just got the answer. So then is it just like a long continuum? I'm very curious about the structure, how they worked it out, because they must have come up with some kind of formula that works for them. Anyway, but I can just look that up on Wikipedia, and I was hoping I could just ask Muhammad, but he said he doesn't know. So it's actually closer to a yes now because Muhammad doesn't know, but I'll just ask somebody else. So it's a no from me. Know. Yeah. Good old Darth. All right.
I do encourage you, if you guys are interested, I encourage you to check out the movie. It's a little longer, of course, but
it's a little longer than 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's definitely longer than 25 minutes. But it used to come on TV all the time, and I would every time it would show up on TV, I'd be like, "Oh, I want to watch that again." And it was definitely more slapstick funny as opposed to just this sort of subtle ridiculous thing. So that I really enjoyed the movie. I haven't seen it lately, but I remember the plot very well.
Interesting.
Various scenes from it too.
So what we're trying to say, everybody, is if you'd like us to review a show, especially a superhero show, in the comments below, type WTF in the show. That stands for Watch the First in the comments section below, especially not just the live chat, but the comments section. And also tell us where we can find it. We have, what do we have? 2 more superhero shows left in August. So make your suggestions. And we will review that show. Maybe. Anyway, the point is...
We could do Batman Beyond. We could do all these others.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments below if you'd like us to do more Batman shows. And which one, like, there's all those extra little... I'm not the biggest Batman fan, I'll be honest. I know that's heresy. But maybe these will change my mind. So that's your job, to everybody. Make us change our minds. The point is, what I'm trying to say is that this podcast would have been much better had we been wearing our PJs.
Kind of am. This podcast was a jump back 50 years.
This podcast was really fun, Batman.
I feel over 50 years.
Yeah, 57 years. It's the 57-year Bat mission. All right, everybody. That's a Star Trek joke for everybody that knows. Thank you to Kelly Park. Please make sure you are subscribed. You hit the bell icon. You like. You comment below. All of those things. It's very important. Otherwise, Batman dies, and nobody wants that. That's not fair to him.
Great Scott!
Yeah. Just remember what Mr. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg always likes to say.
He likes to say, "Believe it or not, I'm walking on it." No, he doesn't say that. He says, "Don't forget to be an organ donor, and don't forget to watch the first of things."
All right, freeze frame like Robin just realizing he has a moose knuckle.
That shitty smile.